Alright guys, Wes here, welcome back to the channel. So as you know, Assassin's Creed Red is one of my most anticipated games of 2024, and with everything that's been leaking about it over the last few months, it really seems like Ubisoft is gearing up for a major reveal. But as if that wasn't enough, we got another huge leak from an alleged playtester for Assassin's Creed Red who spilled the beans on a ton of gameplay details. So in today's video, we're going to be going over everything that leaked the other day about the next mainline Assassin's Creed game. Check the video chapters for easy viewing. Also guys, I'm giving away a PS5 at 160,000 subscribers. To enter, it's super easy. All you have to do is subscribe to the channel, comment your Twitter handle, tweet me proof that you're subscribed, or send it in my Discord, and that will enter you for a chance to win the giveaway. So without further delay, let's get started. So this leak originates from someone who claims to have been a playtester for Assassin's Creed Red, and they basically dropped an info bomb on us recently. So while the identity of this person hasn't been confirmed to be legit, several insiders believe their description of the game to be correct, and with the sheer amount of intel dropped, I'm definitely more inclined to believe it than other leaks. So while it's not 100% confirmed, I personally 100% believe it, but take it all with a grain of salt. Now, according to the leaker, the plot of Assassin's Creed Red will kick off with a tutorial mission that takes place between 1450 and 1470, and the main plot in general is going to have a ton of time jumps that will be signified by cutscenes between major missions. The main character's dialogue in the prologue involves them burning down a village in their younger years before we jump ahead to adulthood and dive into her reasons for seeking out the order. Now, when it comes to characters, there is a female shinobi named Neo, who is a member of the clan at the start of the game, and the clan is known as the Iga clan, led by Neo's father, Nagato Fujibayashi. The male playable character is a samurai named Yasuke, and is accepted into the clan after inciting the incident in the prologue. Despite being members of the same clan, the leaker notes that the two protagonists don't actually see eye to eye on things, and if they didn't share a common enemy, they wouldn't be partnering up at all. So the fact that you can play as both of them makes me really excited for how huge the two stories are going to be different from one another, which will hopefully encourage multiple playthroughs, because I think that's one of the aspects of Assassin's Creed games that we've really been lacking on, and that is the replayability factor. So if both different protagonists have similar but different stories in terms of the main quest line, that should mean that the replayability factor is a lot better compared to previous games. Now, the gameplay of Assassin's Creed Red is also unlike anything in the series before. According to the alleged playtester, the parkour is much better than anything in the open world Assassin's Creed era, and the level of implementation was positively compared to Assassin's Creed Unity, which was a pretty flawed game overall, but it had arguably the best parkour system in the entire series to date. The leaker recalled one instance where they were in a densely populated city, but were able to use the environment to their advantage, basically parkouring around the map without touching the ground once. This isn't going to be a climb anywhere and everything kind of game, but the parkour system is a very deep and enhances the movement and traversal, and there will be even a number of puzzles and collectibles tied into the parkour system, which should be a fun showing of mastery. I always love that whenever there's like puzzles tied to skills, so doing some hardcore parkour in Assassin's Creed Red will be pretty awesome. The playtester noted that the dual protagonist system of AC Red is very different from the system that was in AC Syndicate, which also had two playable characters, but the impact this had on your experience was much lesser than what Ubisoft is cooking up now. They also confirmed that you'll be able to switch between the two playable characters by returning to a special shelter, meaning you will not be locked into one of them for your entire playthrough. You'll also be able to completely customize your home base, which is a nice little touch to make you feel a bit more immersed in the game world. Now, this feature is similar to the settlement system, and it's called the Hideout. The Hideout will be a fully customizable area where they could build the likes of an armory, a dojo, an altar, and more. Now, the buildings are customizable too, so from being able to pick up the building location to also being able to choose your own roof design to the interior layout and where you can display things like your weapons and your armor. That's all possible with the new Hideout system that Assassin's Creed Red features. I can't wait to try it out. It's going to be pretty awesome. Just being able to have your own ninja lair sounds all super exciting. Now, this report also confirmed that the transmog system will be returning from Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and Ubisoft is working on a new game plus mode, but those two features will not be available on day one. So I guess this also confirms that there will at least be one major content patch for Assassin's Creed Red post-launch, which could be a precursor to a paid expansion in the future, but that could also be just my hopium talking. Now, the tester also says that they heard from the developers that they want the more fantasy influenced aspects of recent Assassin's Creed games to be more or less removed entirely. Now, this part I'm not a fan of. I actually like the fantasy influence aspects, but I totally understand they wanted AC to be much more of a grounded experience than the recent games in the franchise, and I think that should be a pretty interesting change of pace. Now, some of the other details that dropped in this leak include the fact that Ubisoft has changed the official title of the game multiple times now, and they're also aiming to release the game in the fall of 2024. There's no exact release date planned, and nothing is set in stone, so it's possible that the the game gets pushed back to winter or possibly even early 2025. Ubisoft has called AC Red the quote biggest blockbuster of 2024 many times, and if the game gets pushed back to 2025, they obviously can't call themselves the biggest game of that year anymore because they'd be sharing the spotlight with GTA 6. I'm personally thinking that they're still going to get the game out in 2024, but I would not be surprised if it's pushed into October or November in order to give the developers as much polished time as possible. The leaker also claims that the soundtrack is totally finished and ready for the release, and that the ninja we see in the trailer isn't actually a character in the game and is instead just a generic assassin. So if you're hoping to get some backstory on them, you're not going to be able to get it. Now, along with the leak, we also had some other gameplay details that seemed to be almost confirming the details from the leak, and this was from Insider Gaming, to which they confirmed that the Assassin's Creed franchise as a whole isn't moving to a new engine necessarily, but AC Red will be using a substantial evolution of the engine named the Anvil Pipeline, and sources explain that the Anvil Pipeline allows all of the various Assassin's Creed studios to work from one unified branch rather than different versions of the branches. So moving forward, Assassin's Creed games will benefit visually from the lines of ray traced global illumination and virtual geometry. The move to the Anvil Pipeline has meant that the teams have had to completely overhaul basically everything in the series 2, including animations, parkour system, dynamic weather, and more. Now, in terms of the combat in Assassin's Creed Red, it was described as being somewhat similar to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, but featuring a lot more gore, including blood and decapitations. And finally, stealth plays a major role in Assassin's Creed Red, and it's somewhat akin to Splinter Cell. The player can extinguish torches, hide in tall grass and bushes, and even go prone whenever they please. Now let's talk about the big release date for Assassin's Creed Red. As you know, some people think a delay to 2025 is completely out of the question for AC Red, but I wouldn't be too sure about that. Ubisoft has announced so many Assassin's Creed projects over the last few years, and it's clear that they're leaning on the franchise to help them get out of a financial hole. Let's just say that the late 2010s and the early 2020s weren't very kind to their profit margins. So with how much hype and stock that Ubisoft has put into Assassin's Creed, you would think that they're going to do whatever they need to do in order to get the next mainline game out without causing too much drama in the process, which that means no delays. However, Ubisoft in this position may also see this as an opportunity to push everything back so they could take more time with the franchise's rebirth and make sure that what they have to offer is worth buying. It was recently reported that Assassin's Creed Jade, which was also supposed to come out this year, has been quietly pushed back to 2025, and Ubisoft may be seeing this as an opportunity to kind of just push everything back and make sure that the Assassin's Creed franchise is in as good of a position as possible before it comes out the door. Now, another factor to consider with the Assassin's Creed Red release date is AC Infinity, which is Ubisoft's new franchise hub that was supposed to be integrated with AC Red somehow. Ubisoft was really eager to tell us about AC Infinity, but ever since that news broke, they've remained pretty tight-lipped about it. Now, it's possible that the shift in attitude towards live service games might have scared Ubisoft away from making like an entirely separate app that basically only exists to advertise other games that are in the Assassin's Creed series. I do think AC Infinity has some unique storytelling potential because it will be able to tie all of the Assassin's Creed games into one narrative, which should get really interesting when the rumored remakes start coming out and we start getting to see the classic Assassin's Creed games get more closely tied into the plot of the modern day ones. But then again, with how little Ubisoft has shared about the AC Infinity platform, it's entirely possible that plans have changed. There hasn't been any official report on AC Infinity being one of the Ubisoft projects that got scrapped entirely, but if AC Jade has been pushed back to 2025, it's possible that AC Red was pushed back as well. Ubisoft honestly might just cut their losses at this point and ditch the AC Infinity plans altogether in order to get the AC games back on their feet, but that's all speculation on my part. None of this is confirmed, but I personally wouldn't be surprised if AC Infinity gets pushed back to 2025 alongside AC Red, or if it just gets quietly shut down by the Ubisoft higher ups. But what do you guys think about all of this Assassin's Creed Red news? Are you more excited for the game after hearing about all of this, or are you now a bit more cautious? Let me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section below. Subscribe to the channel with your notifications turned on so you're not missing out on any future gaming news and updates. Don't forget to enter the PS5 giveaway, and until next time, this has been Wes, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.